Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am back with the reading for the Cancer full moon. So I did already pull some cards from the Lightworkers Oracle this time. And the card that came out was this card in reverse. It says fifth ray of intellectual knowledge, but it came out in reverse. And underneath the deck was this card, an invitation to connect. And I feel like it fits really well with the energies that I'm picking up on with the Cancer full moon. The message that I'm getting really strongly now is that we're moving into a period of melting. The feminine is melting, the ice is melting, and we will see this reflected to us in many ways. But I feel like the way that the cards want to talk about it is that what we might experience the most at this time on an individual level is that we are really being called to start to use our mind differently. I feel like that's what's expanding the most right now, is that the ice is melting. And okay, let me explain this to you the way I see it, so maybe you can kind of see what's in my head. When I'm tuning into the astral, what I see is that there is this huge stargate that has opened. And this has been open now for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or a bit more. And what it reminds me of is, it's a little bit like this card. If you've ever experienced standing in front of a huge building, you know, a building that took centuries to build and that thousands of people worked on, then you might have experienced this feeling that I feel with this stargate. It's as if this building or this stargate is a portal into time itself. Because if you tune into such a building, you can sense all of these different layers of time that are all kind of incorporating into that building. You can sense all of these different individual destinies that all are kind of like layered into the building, to the energy of the building. And so this is what I'm feeling right now, except it's times like a million. And what I feel that this is that it's the stargate of Earth itself. You know, it's all of the layers of all of the energies that have ever gone into making Earth the way we know it today. That portal, that time portal, is defrosting, and it's melting, and it's turning into water. And so we can just imagine what that means, because, you know, when something is frozen, it is rigid, it is structured. You can't really travel freely through it. You know, it's held into place and it's held into form. And so the difference that we're moving into now is that we can travel everywhere within our own history in a way. And the way we navigate is really through feeling. You know, the way we choose our timeline is really through feeling. It's not through using this intellectual way of the mind, you know, it's not through using words or necessarily using logic. If we don't have feeling, if we can't feel, then we'll be lost when it comes to navigating in this stargate that we're moving into now, in this time that we're moving into now. Because it's almost as if feeling will tell you where you are. You know, if you feel something that is draining, something that is negative, something that makes your body dense, like angry, aggressive, hyper-focused, then you know that you're not dealing with a timeline that allows you to be light and open. you know, then you realize that there are some kind of blocks within your system in regards to how you can interact with this timeline in an open way. You know, you still carry karma in regards to this specific timeline. There are lessons there for you. And so this is kind of complicated to explain in like a surface level way. It's something that I think people will have to choose to explore on their own, because it's, like I said, it's really about feeling. It's about connection. And I think that's what is shifting now so much. Like, we're moving into a period of time where I feel like it's going to be all about connection. The way we feel each other. That's what's really going to matter a lot to us. Because, you know, feeling water, it's life. You know, it gives us the ability to grow new life. And so non-toxic water is very rejuvenating. It feels good because it is good. So let's see what the cards have to say here. If they can give us some more advice on what's to come and what we can focus on. Wow. So the card that flew out was the Ace of Wands. Wow, and underneath the deck is the Knight of Cups. This makes a lot of sense. To me, the Knight of Cups is the knight that comes from the heart. You know, it's interesting because the traditional way of speaking about the heart, you know, the heart chakra of humanity, it is said that it is where ice and fire meet. And so there are kind of like two forces that meet when it comes to our heart chakra, the fire and then the ice, the frozen form of water. And so I feel like there's something about that coming through here with this, you know, the Ace of Wands and then the Knight that I associate with the heart chakra. There is some kind of light, this new light, you know, this new way of looking at things that allows us to begin to melt the ice within ourselves and to begin to, it feels like coming back to life, really. Like to come out of stagnancy, come out of this, you know, feeling like you're trapped in rigidity, feeling like you have to do things a certain way. Just, I don't know, it's just this old way of thinking, again with the intellectual knowledge in reverse. I just feel like it's this old way of thinking, this very rigid and rule-based way. It's just starting to be shed because it's just too old-fashioned. It's just too limited for the time that we're moving into now, for a time when things are melting, and it's almost like in every second all possibilities are available. In every second, it's not just like 2 timelines, 3 timelines that's available to us. It's like 1,000 timelines are available to us. And so the potential is so great if we know how to navigate this new time. And I think that with the Ace of Wands, I feel like this speaks about actually new growth. In the mind, you know, sometimes I see the Ace of Wands as a representation of our nervous system. You know, it's the fire inside our body that sends messages. And so I feel like this is growing new neurons, you know, growing new connection within our own body that helps us to navigate this new time, that helps us to move into this Knight of Cups energy. And so let's see, an advice here. How can the people watching this best do that? How can we do that? What's some ways that we can grow new connections? Oh, this is interesting. It's the Magician in reverse. And underneath the deck, wow, it's also the King of Pentacles in reverse. And behind there was the Five Pentacles. This is funny. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of... this message has been coming through quite a lot for me and in my readings as well. I also think that as we're moving into this new time, when the ice is melting, I feel also that the ice can relate to finances, money. You know, it's water. It can bring new life. And it feels like we're moving into a time where there will be a lot more flow in regards to our financial system. There will be a lot more unpredictability, you know, much more difficult to predict just using the old ways of orienting ourselves. But if we are tuned into the feeling, if we can navigate this new time, you know, we can make huge jumps, I feel, when it comes to our finances. But it's changing a lot because it feels like money is moving from being in a material form to a much more non-material form. And I think that we might see this in many different ways. You know, for instance, that it will be more difficult to buy actual things for our money. But I feel like that's maybe more into another reading, like another video. Because what I feel like this is talking about is really... oh no, it's kind of connected. Because what I feel like these cards are talking about is really kind of changing the way that we think about money in our mind. You know, I feel like during patriarchy, it's almost as if, or especially during the later stages of patriarchy, you know, the times that we've been in now, the times of consumerist society, it's almost as if money is the end goal. Like everything evolves around money. It's like if you have money, you have access to everything. I feel like that's no longer gonna be true. I feel like money is not necessarily going to be linked so much with matter anymore. It's almost as if money is separating from matter, that it's not going to be necessarily so that if you have money, you can buy anything. There might be different forces at play as well, is what I'm feeling here. And so part of this shift is actually very much centered around the concept of money in our mind, is what I feel. And this, because again, I think that this has been very much linked with the Ace of Wands, the way that the growth have been going. Everyone has been trying to reach for and grow towards the money. But now it's almost as if the guidance that's coming through is saying, that's not your end goal. Like, it's not that money is bad or that we won't have money or none of that. It's just that it's not your end all be all. Like, it's almost as if we're still trapped within that old time, then this is going to be a very difficult time for us. But if we are able to kind of change our mindset and to look more at, you know, what are the actual resources that I will need in order to build and create the life that I want. If I take the money out of it, what are the actual things that I will need, the actual skills that I will need? And then just make that your goal, not the money. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know if that makes sense. Because it's something about this. If we focus about money being our end goal at this point in time, like if we focus all of our attention that I want money, then we're going to be walking right past the invitations to connect that could actually easily, quickly bring about the timeline that is like one of our highest timelines. And so I feel like the curse of money is actually slowly starting to, I'm hearing, pull its teeth out of us and release us. And it feels lovely. It's like moving into a period of time where it's just such a huge burden, I feel, that's being lifted off our shoulders. And I feel like it's just us manifesting in a new way. Like it's gonna be so much easier for us to manifest because we won't have all of that karma on our back that's attached to money anymore when we're able to do this switch. It's like we will feel much freer when it comes to manifesting, much more aligned with our own hearts and our own creativity is what I'm feeling. So I love this. It's a time of melting. You know, the snow is starting to melt and we're starting to realize that a lot of the portals that we need in order to create the life that we want is there for us. We don't need the money to get there, is what I'm getting. It's much more about working more directly actually with the earth. You know, he's upside down. He's kind of like looking at the earth. Rather than being trapped by this idea, this concept of money. That's what I'm feeling. So I'm gonna end this reading here. I hope that you're doing great, guys. Take care for now and goodbye.